Hi everybody. I'm just hanging out at school here, got a little bit of time, so I thought I'd make a video and do a little bit of professoring, a little bit of the office hours. First of all, today I'd like to bring everybody's attention to this awesome t-shirt that I got. Got to represent Broken Compass Brewing Company. Big shout out to Broken Compass. They're a local microbrew in Breckenridge, Colorado, and they are really, really good. Next time you're in Breckenridge, Colorado, go check them out. They do a jalapeno IPA, which is actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good. So one more time, Broken Compass Brewing Company, and they're not paying me a dime for this, so you know they're actually good. Okay, so today I'd like to talk about what in a geographic sense, I mean by the word China. And you know, I've had a lot of friends telling me that they're familiar with parts of China, like Shanghai and Beijing. Let's actually put let's put these on the map. So here's Shanghai, and here's Beijing. Don't want to write the J. And over here, of course, we've got Tibet, right? And but really, a lot of my friends beyond that aren't super familiar with the geography of China. So today we're going to talk about that. Now, you know, in today's parlance, I could be meaning a few things actually when I say China. So first, we're going to define China. All right, and in today's parlance, China usually refers to this, which is the territory, which is the territory that's controlled by the People's Republic of China, okay? Although it could also refer to the Republic of China. So there's the People's Republic and the Republic of China, okay? And the Republic of China is this. Another word for the Republic of China is Taiwan. So basically, think Cold War, think East-West Germany, okay? And this is the Socialist People's or Communist People's Republic of China, and this is the Capitalist Republic of China, okay? And that's Taiwan. Okay, so it's two competing governments, both claiming to be China. But today, we're going to talk a little bit beyond that about the shared kind of ancient civilization to which both are heir and the territory claimed by both entities. Okay, so really what we're going to talk about today is not only the mainland, but also what is called the Republic of China. So, you know, a lot of my students and Chinese friends, they like to tell me that their country looks like a chicken. And it really does. Let's take a look. Maybe a wing in here. Yeah, see? Big old chicken. And this chicken is hanging out with two eggs, right? So let's start from the head and work our way down, shall we? So the head of the chicken, and these days we would refer to the head of the chicken as the northeast, or in Chinese, or in standard Chinese, you would say Dongbei. Although historically and erroneously, this has been referred to in Western scholarship as Manchuria, and that's a term that's never been used in Chinese or even in Manchu scholarship. This is kind of the Alaska of China, you know, lots of cold winters, lots of snow, you know, maybe some bears. There's actually a very, very small population up in here that practices reindeer pastoralism, or historically practiced reindeer pastoralism, or as I think my professor might prefer to say, reindeer augmented hunting and gathering. But at any rate, so this is big cold, lots of big cold expanse, lots of snow, lots of cool animals, things like that. And since the 19th century, this area has become more and more Sinicized. Historically, this was not actually populated by Chinese-speaking people. The people of this region were speakers of Mongolic languages, of Tungusic languages, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with Tungusic. Evenki is a Tungusic language. Manchu is a Tungusic language. So these are two, Mongolic and Tungusic, these are two language families that have a lot more to do with Inner Asia and Siberia than they have to do with China or Chinese, and this is historically speaking, of course. The most historically widespread of these Tungusic languages was Manchu, it was Manchu, and this was the language, and that's where Manchuria comes from, of course. Manchu was the language of the Qing dynasty, which came down from the north and ruled China from the 17th century even until the 20th century, okay? So let's take a look at the back of the chicken. So moving down from the head, we're now going to look at the back, okay? And this is what's known as Inner Mongolia. Remember, this used to be referred to as Outer Mongolia. So this is Inner Mongolia, and politically speaking, this is called the Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region, okay? And I've been here a few times, actually. I even hitchhiked across it from here to here, around here a little bit. And at one point, I was in a really remote border region, right? And there was this really podunk of podunk's little hamlet, and chilling with some nomads, bromads, as I like to say. And I actually got arrested because the authorities thought that I was an American spy. Because what else would I be doing there? But I was innocent. Fortunately, the police realized after a few hours of questioning that I was actually just a harmless linguist, so they let me go. And we even ended up making friends. They took me out for a meal the next day to say sorry. So, notwithstanding my brief run-in with Johnny Law, Inner Mongolia is actually a pretty cool place. It's also where some very conservative, very ancient Mongolian dialects have been preserved and also still in use. We have this beautiful vertical Mongolian alphabet, which in the Republic of Mongolia, they don't really use anymore. They use Cyrillic or the Russian alphabet, but this beautiful ancient vertical script. I'll write I can't resist. I'll write Mongol in this script. It's absolutely beautiful. Not very good handwriting, but this is the word Mongol. Ooh, that looks more like it. There we go. This is the word Mongol in the traditional script. Absolutely beautiful. And this is the writing system that's still in use among Mongolian speakers in Inner Mongolia. However, more and more people are starting to speak Chinese. In fact, I think ethnically, even though there are more Mongols and Mongolian speakers in Inner Mongolia than in the Republic of Mongolia, this region is still something like 85% Han Chinese, we would say. That is the Chinese-speaking ethnicity, and speakers of Chinese rather than of Mongolian. So that's actually kind of a problem. You really need to get out into the deep countryside to hear Mongolian as a primary language. To the south, let's move from Inner Mongolia down to the south, okay? And really what we're looking at is Beijing, okay, all the way down to Vietnam. And east to west, we're talking about Shanghai, all the way to here, what's called Sichuan, okay? Sichuan. And maybe you've been to a Chinese restaurant and had something like a Szechuan, right? And it really is just the same romanization. It's a different romanization for the same word. So Sichuan means 4 rivers, and it's a major province in the west near Tibet. So really we're talking about Beijing down to Vietnam and Shanghai all the way to Sichuan, okay? And what this is historically been referred to as, well, I like to call it core China. In fact, I think John Kie, in his excellent book, China History, talks about the cradle and the core. The cradle would be up here where Chinese civilization first began, and core China would be in here. And historically, this has been referred to as China proper, but we don't really use that term anymore. What we mean by core China is that historically this region has been populated by Chinese speakers, mostly by Chinese speakers. And Chinese civilization, like I say, developed in the north along the Yellow River Valley. Let's make the Yellow River here. Oh. Yellow River Valley, and in the north, and then it gradually spread further and further south, and it gradually displaced and assimilated other peoples, non-Chinese speakers, as it went. And so here's the Yellow River. Okay, let's do this. Yellow River, and the other big river, of course, is the Yangtze. So here's the Yangtze, and it goes out near Shanghai. Be a little, sorry, south. There we go. Yeah, kind of a delta. All right, here's the Yangtze. Okay. And so here we have the two major rivers, and along these rivers are big population centers, okay? So let's see. Let's talk first about the Yellow River. Here we've got places like Xi'an, okay, and that's where the terracotta warriors are. And maybe along here we have provinces like Henan, Hebei, Shandong, Shanxi, and what these really are, and these are very densely populated provinces with a long history. Really what these are is when we say Henan, that means river south. So of course Hebei means river north, because south of the river, north of the river. Shandong is mountain east, so there's some little mountains here and some of that. Shandong is east of the mountains. Shanxi, of course, is west of the mountains, right? So, you know, not particularly imaginative, but descriptive nonetheless, right? And so further south along the Yangtze, we have some more big population centers. And I already talked about Sichuan, but we've got cities, a big city here called Chongqing. Chongqing, okay. And around here we have what's called Hubei province, okay. And more like down in here is Hubei province. And down here we have Hunan province, okay. And maybe here's Jiangxi. And here we have Shanghai. And these are all big names that you would hear if you came to China, because this is like talking about Florida and California, maybe to Americans. These are big population centers. And of course, similar names. We've got Hubei meaning north of the lakes, Hunan meaning south of the lakes. We've got some lakes around in here, maybe. There we go. Yeah. North of the lake, south of the lake. And Jiangxi, of course, is river west. So we have the western part of the river around here. And Shanghai actually means above the sea. Or above sea, so which makes perfect sense because it's on the country or on the coastline. Good. So anyway, further south we've got the Tropic of Cancer going through here. Let's do this. Okay, going through Taiwan. There we go. And we got the Tropic of Cancer, and you know, we've got the very populous, what's called Guangdong Province. Guangdong. And really, this is, we have in English a variant pronunciation of Guangdong. We say Canton. Guangdong, Canton, almost the same sound. So that's Maybe you've heard this name before, but this is Guangdong Province, okay? And we have some major cities here like Guangzhou, Shenzhen, and we also have, of course, the semi-autonomous city-states of Hong Kong and Macau, which is a little bit lesser known. But they're two kind of autonomous city-states within, although nominally under Beijing's control, they're having their own flags, their own money, things like that. And it's here where we have the two eggs of the chicken, that is Taiwan and Hainan, so TWHN, right? And Hainan, first of all, it's basically China's answer to Hawaii, is the way I like to think of it. Or maybe Hawaii is the U.S.'s answer to Hainan. Because here really is the big place where people like to go on vacation and things like that. Personally, I've never been there, and I'm honestly not super interested in going because I think I'd die of heat exhaustion. But I have been to this one, and I was here last month in Taiwan. And Taiwan's a little further north. It's an interesting place. Taiwan's political status, like we were talking about, is disputed, and as a foreigner, it's not really my place to have a comment or leave comments or have an opinion on it. But regardless of the island's political status, it's very much Chinese in terms of language and in terms of culture. Now, a long time ago, for thousands of years, Taiwan has been home to speakers of Austronesian languages, and that's the same language family as Malay and Maori and even Hawaiian, right? But these days, it's mostly Chinese speakers, and more or less everybody speaks some variety of Chinese. And even Austronesian speakers would probably use Chinese at work or just outside the home. But yeah, Taiwan's a cool place. I was there last month. Really recommend it. Let's move away from the front of the chicken and move to the chicken's wing here. Okay, so this is southwest China a little bit, and we already talked about Sichuan, and the other really important province here is called Yunnan, okay? And I have to mention Guizhou, which is Guizhou, and sorry, maybe you can't see GZ for Guizhou, and that's where I am right now. And Guizhou really isn't a super important place, but I do need to represent my hood and throw my hood up, as Little John would say. But Guizhou is actually it's a cool place, but it's kind of the North Dakota of China. Think about it like that. Whenever I tell a Chinese person that I live in Guizhou, they always kind of give me a weird look and ask me what the hell I'm doing there. So, but it's actually a nice place to live, if not the most cosmopolitan. But just like the rest of China, it is developing every day. Believe it or not, here in my city, we have not one, but 2 Starbucks locations, and that's a big deal. So anyway, this area of China is interesting because we have a lot of indigenous ethnic groups here who speak languages that are more closely related to those of Southeast Asia. For example, in Guizhou, there's a large Hmong population, which is more often associated with Laos and Vietnam. In China, we would say Miao is the ethnonym of these people, but really the English name is Hmong. And we also have in this region some very, very beautiful, spectacular mountains, which really are the foothills of the Himalayas. And the Himalayas, of course, leads us to Tibet. And regardless of course, how this is a sensitive topic, regardless of how you personally feel about Tibet, right now it is, for better or worse, firmly under the control of the People's Republic of China. That said, however, despite what some Chinese nationalists would have you believe, this has not always been the case. In fact, it wasn't until actually the Mongol Empire in the 13th century that Tibet and China were incorporated into the same political entity. And even then, of course, both Tibet and China were subject to the Mongolian Khans. So really it would be more of saying Tibet and China were both part of Mongolia, rather than the other way around. North of Tibet, this is called Xinjiang, meaning it means new territories. Okay, and here's really where the chicken's wing is, I guess. Let's do XJ for Xinjiang. And Xinjiang I've never been there. I'd love to go someday. It's not really a Chinese-speaking majority area, but historically it's been under the influence and the occasional control of Chinese governments and dynasties. Here we have speakers of Turkic languages, not to be confused with Turkish, but Turkic speaking languages, or Turkic speaking groups, for example, Kazakh people and Uyghur people. Although just like Inner Mongolia, it's becoming more and more Sinicized because there's a lot of Chinese speakers moving in. And again, it's not really my place to comment on the Sinicization of minority areas, but I will say that I think people have the right to live wherever they like as long as they respect the local culture and language. Now, is that happening in Tibet and Xinjiang? Some say yes, some say no. I've never been, so I can't really say. I do know that it's not happening very much in Inner Mongolia. The region here is being linguistically flooded by Chinese speakers, and it's to the point where a lot of people don't even learn Mongolian, even though they live there. And Chinese is the language of the cities and of the successful people. And you kind of have to go deep into the countryside, like I said, to find Mongolian in everyday use, which is kind of sad, I think. But I mean, I think it's a travesty, and I think it shows maybe even that some of the people coming into Inner Mongolia who are speaking Chinese don't respect Mongolian culture and enough to learn the language, which I think is really too bad, and it's showing a lack of respect for the linguistic heritage of the region. But again, like I said, not really my place to make a statement about that. So anyway, that's a very basic overview of China's geography, and as we continue talking about Chinese language and culture, you'll be hearing a lot more about these places. So up next, we have something really cool, and that is, what's the deal with Taiwan? Bye everybody, have a good day.